feels since 2016, since the decline of Pokemon Go, there's not really been much of a hub for Pokemon fans in general. I mean, I miss the days where you could just be in the park, you'd be on your phone, not even on Pokemon Go, and you'd see someone walk past staring at their phone, and you just think to yourself, he's going for that victory bell down the road, isn't he? And he fucking would be. And the person next to you, or a few seats down, would also be on his phone. He's after the Nidoking. It's just a union of Pokemon fans at this point. You could throw a stone in your local park, down the road, it would most likely hit a Pokemon fan. And I don't feel that's something you can do as much now. So what if I were to tell you that if you were to live in the Philippines, you could have a 3-day event for fans, by fans, a Pokemon Comic-Con, effectively. You would surely go. Would you go? You would go. Would you pay £360 to go for 3 days? Would you consider that worth your time? Well, we're about to find out if it's worth your time, or could we be looking at another Wonka Experience? Because we are going into the Pokeverse. Now, that looked cool as fuck, didn't it? That surely, if you're living in the Philippines, that's worth the trip to go. That's worth the £300 to go. You saw everything we needed to there. We had trading card game tournaments. We had Veronica Taylor. We had the guy that sung the Pokemon theme. We had everything. We had events inspired by the real game map. It's absolutely, you've got to go. You've just got to go. It's the event of the year. You've got to go. Now, a Twitter user by the name of Bintu Rita, now you've probably already heard of her. She's patient zero when it comes to breaking the story of the Pokeverse. And unfortunately, despite the cool graphic, despite the cool website, despite the cool promises, it's not particularly gone as well as we hoped it would, unfortunately. I don't think it's quite like the Wonka Experience, because that was more incompetency, whereas I think this is just, the intention was there, it's just gone a little bit AWOL, and we're gonna see how AWOL it's gone. And whilst we are here as well, we have managed to get the day's event of the Pokeverse. So here we take an exclusive look at day one. This event took place on May 31st. Obviously, the information now just coming out about the event itself. So day one's theme, collectors and nostalgia. So the main program, 10 AM, was the ribbon cutting itself, followed after that by the open house. Just have a peruse around the area to see what there is. Between 11:30 and 12 there's the opening ceremony, hosted by the one and only Tim Yap. Between 3 and 4 you have the interview panel with collectors, and then the panel interview with nostalgia. I don't quite know what that really entails. Between 4, if you had that bike go past, I do apologise. We're not retaking the scene. Between 3 and 4, you got a Veronica Taylor interview. That I can imagine being quite a big deal. Between 4 and 5, you got the cosplay walk and giveaways. Between 5 and 6, the one and only Jason Page will have an interview, followed by a performance or a mini performance of Jason Page. Then that's just on the Pika stage itself. You have multiple stages to these things. You've got whatever visit the Klimt Alley activity area between 11 PM and 11 AM. I was going to say, that goes on quite late, doesn't it? Imagine a Pokemon themed nightclub. Absolutely would go to that. Anyway, I digress. 11 AM to 1 PM. The Pokemon themed baking session. This will be a point of contention later on in the video. Between 1 and 5, or 1 and 3, and then 3 and 4, you've got live sketching classes 1 and 2. So if you want to, you know, learn how to draw a Satu, you go ahead, you be there between 1 and 4, and you'll get all the information you need to know. Victory Road, you got Build and Battle, and you got the trading card and video. I assume that's video game, the raid battles. You got the fan arena. Between 1 and 3, you got a meet and greet session 1, and then quite late at night, between 7 and 9, another meet and greet session. And in the Gaia Garden, you've just got the box break. I don't know what that means. I don't know why they're only on specific areas. But either way, that's day 1, and a lot of fun it would promise to be. Day 2 now. Now, day 2 hasn't yet been reported on. It could have gone on without a hitch. It might not, but we're going to have to see the good and the bad of these themes. So it's the theme is a competition and passion. So again, 10 AM, open house, 12 PM, trading card game, video game? I don't know what VGC means. If you know, let me know, please. And a cosplay competition. Oh, the registration for the cosplay competitions. On the Pika stage, between 11:30 and 12, you got the Hobby Stadium and Arcan interview. Between 1 and 3, you've got Pokemon cosplay themed competition. Absolutely all for that. Between 3 and 4, you've got the awarding ceremony for the cosplay tournament with Myrtle Sarosa. Cool. Between 4 and 5, you got another Veronica Taylor and Jason Page interview. Between 6 and half 6, you got a panel interview with Pokemon Masters. Between half 6 and 7, you've got another panel interview. This time with Pokemon judges and casters. And then between 7 and 8, we've got another Jason Page live concert. How much is he getting paid for this, I wonder? Is he just doing it for the fun of it? Victory Road, once again, you've got more cosplay competitions and more trading card competitions. You've got a live painting class and a live sketching class. Again, this will come into contention later on. You've got the Maritime Playzone, the Build and Battle, and again, another raid battle, and the fan area, a meet and greet session, and once again, I don't know what this entails. Between 2 and 3, and with 4 and 5, just a box break 2, and box break 1. Not particularly sure what it means. And then day 3, the final day of the Pokeverse, we have the open house once again. We've got the panel interview, the kids interview this time. We got, I mean, that's nice for the little kids, to be fair. It is quite easy for you. I've seen this a lot. I'm taking a tangent. You see this a lot when it comes to sort of Disney events. You get the Disney adults who are the worst people in the world taking the spotlight from the kids itself. So it's nice that the kids get their own little bit of time, albeit half an hour. Between 12 and 1, you get the open category cosplay themed competition. For another half hour, you got the awarding ceremony. Once again, Myrtle Sarosa makes a return from this. Between 2 and 3, you got another panel interview with the Poke Artist. Between 3 and 4, you got the Poke Farm, and then between half 7 and 9, you've got the closing program. Again, you've got your trading card, you've got your raid battles. Let's be honest here, it seems like we put a lot of our chips onto day 1, which is quite unfortunate because day 1 of the Pokeverse does appear to be the most infamous. But let's move on with the rest of the event. So, when we look at pricing for the event, I've taken the liberty of changing the currency from Philippine pesos into the UK currency, just so it's easier for myself. You're gonna have to do the currency exchange yourself if you're from somewhere else, I'm afraid. Now, the standard entry was about P1000, which translates roughly into about £13 in English money. And so it's pretty much the standard con experience, panels, workshops, all that sort of thing. The VIP ticket, however, would be about £80, which is quite steep, given that it's just for a day. However, it does give you a limited edition Pokeverse card. I don't know if that's a Pokemon card itself, or just a card for the event. If it's a Pokemon card, maybe, still not probably worth it, but definitely not worth it if it comes to the Pokeverse card itself. You will get a Pokeverse t-shirt and a free trainer quest pass. Now, I've done some extensive digging, and I do not, for the life of me, know what a quest pass is at all. I think it's just a pass to the event, maybe? I don't know. If you know, let me know in the comments, because I still have no clue. So I'm not exactly stingy with money, and I've been a Pokemon fan since I was about 8 years old, like since its inception. But that would still make me do a double take at the price. All 3 days alone would cost you about £260 to £300. I mean, it comes with its perks. You would get 4 signatures and photo opportunity coupons for the headliner of your choice. You would get 2 limited edition Pokeverse cards, and again, you would get the limited edition Pokeverse t-shirt. You would get this along with 5 raffle tickets for a Pokeverse hat. So not even the hat itself, just the chance, or 5 chances to win the hat. I know you're like me, you're looking at this price and thinking, is it worth it? We've only seen the cool graphic so far. The graphic has lured me in. But why is it costing me nearly £300? Well, with justification of the cost, it's down to venue rental, that's understandable. And of course, you need to hire security for your crowd control. I don't think it's going to be an issue, but you never know. So keep in mind, a big portion of this money is going on to security. That is something you need to keep in mind for later. Somehow it loops back round. It's not all bad. If you come into cosplay, I just spat on my cat, I'm sorry. Now, it's not all bad. You don't have to necessarily spend all that money, because if you come to the event in cosplay, be it a Pokemon, you could be Ash, you could even just put on a green gilet and say you're Brock. If you go into cosplay, you will get 50% off, or a chance for 50% off. One person, according to reports, was denied because staff didn't recognise his character. Now I want to know, who on earth was he dressed as?
Who's that Pokemon?
I think I may have the answer to that question, but up about at the point of writing this, I wasn't too sure. Anyway, so that's already set a little bit of a rocky start, I would say. It's not the end of the world, but still a rocky start. Things did go pretty much tits up quite quickly in terms of the ticket boothing. The ticket booths were miles away from the con itself, so people would line up for hours on end, get up to the entrance and say, no, you need a ticket. The ticket booth's about 15 minutes down that way. Last minute announcements in terms of discounts was causing a lot of confusion between people, and again, ticket booths were in bewildering places. The day passes were a point of contention that was made. So it's a 3-day event. You can obviously pay for 1 day, you can pay for 2 days, you can pay for just day 2. Now, if you were just attending for day 1, you were given a red pass. If you was attending on day 2, you were given a blue pass. If you was attending on day 3, you were given a green pass. Very simple, and honestly, I'm quite a big fan of that. That's like a real life Easter egg to the original games. There's a lot of thought gone into that. The issue being is that if you were to buy all 3 days, or for all 3 day passes, you were given 3 red bands, which is just for the day 1. So that's already confusing if you're in that situation. And after a while, they ran out of red bands, so we're just stamping people with a red stamp. If you happen to have a red stamp at home, you could just get them for free, which is ideal. Something to note in hindsight, I guess. There was more issues in terms of tickets, as you could buy a walk-in VIP ticket, which is the exact same price as the online VIP ticket. However, if you were to buy your VIP ticket at the door, you were just told straight up, here's your VIP pass. By the way, you're not as important as to the people who purchased online. It's the exact same ticket, but you just don't get all the extra passes as to who paid. I don't know how we policed that, I don't know if it's just an empty threat, I don't know if he had a different pass, but that's just what I'm hearing. The ribbon cutting itself was apparently 2 hours late, and it seemed to be quite an anticlimactic affair. Now, I was able to source the ribbon cutting footage itself, and it just seemed an awkward event. The poor person hosting it didn't even have a microphone. She was being drowned out by the crowd, she was losing her voice through it. I've got the clip here, let's just watch it.
Welcome to an extraordinary moment in the history of Pokemon! This groundbreaking occasion marks a new chapter where fans and all ages can immerse themselves in a world of adventure, discovery, and community. Welcome to Pokeverse! The premier Pokemon themed expo in the Philippines, and made by fans and for fans. And to officially open it, man, we have Pokeverse founder and event producer Captain Kurt together with the one and only Jason Payne! And of course, Veronica Taylor! Together with our very own Miss Marites Allen! And of course, Timya! Are you guys ready? Yes! Let's do it in 3, 2, 1! And Pokeverse is officially open!
Now, with the ribbon now cut and the doors open, the fans rush in, hoping to see a beautiful Pokemon world, the Pokeverse, if you will, beyond their eyes. Unfortunately, much like Wonka, much like Fyrefestival, much like Dashcon, they're met with a slight bit of disappointment. The first impressions, not particularly wonderful. It's just a barren empty space at this point. Not even a sign saying welcome to the Pokeverse. It does get better. Now you look past it, if you move on following the map, we go to the starter area. This replicates the early days of Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red, picking your first Pokemon. Generally, it is a good hint of nostalgia, because I remember thinking as a kid, who do I pick? And you go to the starter area. I'm not saying I could do it better, but with money and resources, I feel I could do it better. You're led to an area. It doesn't resemble a map. It's basically 3 plushes. You get your Bulbasaur, your Charmander, your Squirtle, on a bit of AstroTurf, on a pedestal with a backdrop of what I think might be AI trading card drawings, unfortunately. We can see it here. It's not particularly good. Just a little bit down. We do take a stance from Pokemon Yellow or the anime, so you get a load of Pikachus there. Now I believe that is also the Pikachu wall that we saw in the map, so that's... It's not promising. It's not promising whatsoever, you've got to say, and they're not even good plushes. I've got one of those plushes in my bedroom. I could realistically just get the Charmander and Squirtle. I could start a starter area of my own and charge a $5 for it, and I'd be here. So it's not a great start, let's be honest here. Now, this event wasn't funded just by the fans alone. There are obviously sponsorships involved here. One of the sponsorships was Frigga, which is a Lucky Charm company, or Lucky Charm shop if you will, that mostly specialises in Chinese zodiac charms. I think it's quite inoffensive, and it sort of fits in with the theme anyway around Pokemon, so I don't think it would look completely out of place. With that said, they have taken up an awful lot of space on the map itself. I think they've completely taken the reins from one of the other areas. Now, the other sponsor is Caloscope. I think I'm saying that right. Caloscope, which is an NFT company, and that already, reading that, that's a big red flag to me. Just anything NFT in 2024, just take your seat back in early 2023 and stay there where you belong. No one needs you. No one wants you. Get out of here. We continue the tour now. Now what we're seeing here is 3 beanbags, a red, a yellow and a black one, followed by like what I can only assume is a miniature stage or a big table. This is considered the rest spot, apparently. Now, why you need a rest from this, I don't quite know. Why they only brought 3 beanbags, I also don't know. Surely just getting some chairs and a few tables would have been a lot easier. There was no signposting of the rest spot whatsoever. You see some 3 beanbags, and what's all this about? Is that a Pikachu in the distance? No, it's a beanbag. Just a rest spot, unsignposted. Later on in the event, they just moved the beanbags over to the main stage area. So this was basically just a gigantic bit of AstroTurf just to look at, effectively. It's a talking point, but I don't think it's a talking point for the right reasons. There's a lot of space for a lot of nothing. And as we can see here, there's also a big open area. It looks like they've just gone down to the local carnival and took some of their games. They're unbranded, nothing to do with Pokemon. You could maybe say that 1 second to the right could be a Tauros in another region. There's a game of tic-tac-toe going on there. There's some pencils down at the bottom. I don't know. I think they just saw another empty space and thought we need to fill this up. There's so much empty spacing going on here. Let's just get anything we can find there. Even this? Yes, even that. Just put it there now. Another point of contention, which we don't have any pictures of at the moment. However, if we go back to the rota of day 1, you may remember that I said there were cake baking activities and sketching classes. Again, who wouldn't want to make a Clefairy cake? Who wouldn't know how to draw a picture of a Lapras? It's something I would genuinely be interested in doing, especially the bacon part. However, as it goes, it wasn't what we expected. The cake baking class wasn't a cake baking class whatsoever. It wasn't even a cake baking activity. It was just someone promoting their cake sketching service. Now, if they used Pokemon to promote this, I don't even know. I don't know. I just don't know. Now, the sketching class, of course, was just some person selling commissions of Pokemon, which is still fine, but it's just not what's advertised, is it? So it's not particularly what you're looking for. The day wasn't a complete bust, however. You did have a lovely, heartwarming interview with Veronica Taylor. However, the interviewer then decided to call her daughter just completely on the fly, and she seemed a little bit uncomfortable with that. Now, you could say it's not exactly a villainous thing, is it now? You can't call him the villain of the Pokeverse, because it would appear that the Pokeverse already has a villain lined up. No, it's not Team Rocket. It's not Giovanni. I know he's a part of Team Rocket, but I can't think of any other villains. It's not Team Plasma. It's not Team Aqua. It's not Team Magma. It's Team Ravioli. There is a guy named the Ravioli Man going around the Pokeverse. I don't know the backstory of this character whatsoever. I want to know more about him. Now, I'm going to use this opportunity to quickly advertise my Wonka Experience video. If you've not seen it, do check it out. The issue being with the Wonka Experience video, I really wanted to hit whilst the iron was hot, so I got the video out before all the information was available, and I completely missed the unknown. I am thrilled that I have not missed Ravioli Man. Now, Ravioli Man is just a guy going around in a black robe, a hat, a plain white t-shirt stained in ravioli sauce with Ravioli Man written in Sharpie across it. And it's just, I don't know, I can't understand it. It's sadly what it says on the tin. Look at him. That is an unhinged individual or a marketing genius, because for better or worse, we are talking about the Ravioli Man on a day in which Pokeverse is quite a hot topic. What's his end game? What's his backstory? Who is this guy? Why is this guy? I don't understand. Now, apparently he smelled absolutely rancid. You could smell him before you could see him, and that's quite impressive when he is quite an eye-catching person. And whilst we're here talking, what's going on with the picture of Pac-Man in the background? What relevance is that? That's irrelevant. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm sort of lost for words. Now, apparently security did nothing about Ravioli Man, despite constant complaints about him. He was just a weird dude all in all. Security eventually did something about him when he started to wipe the booze down with a sponge. Now, Presumably, the sponge was ravioli tainted. Covered in ravioli sauce, I can only imagine. So they finally kicked him out because of that. However, they let him back in like 20 minutes later. So when you're buying the tickets and it's like, look, the tickets are quite expensive because of security costs, what are they paying the security for? Kick Ravioli Man out of here. I'm glad they didn't, so I wanted to see him. I wanted to know more about Ravioli Man. But it's baffling. The entire event have been a bit baffling. Now, I think this is just day one. There's still 2 days of this to go. There's not been a lot of discourse around day 2 or 3. The person who brought this all to light has said there is more to announce. So, by all means, I'll link her in the description. Do keep an eye on it. You've probably come here from this story itself, from her. But by all means, give her a follow on Twitter, because none of this would have been possible without her. We're hoping for a little bit more information on day 2 and 3. Now, I've had a quick look on their Facebook page. It did seem that the other days were a little bit better, but that could have been a little editing shenanigans. What I did manage to find from the YouTube of Jason Page himself, it just made me sad. It was him doing his performance on the road to Viridian City. He tried his best to amp the crowd up. Now, either they were just recording it and living their life through the back of their phones, which you do see at quite a few concerts, or they were just exhausted from a day of disappointment. But he came out to just an apathetic crowd. It was upsetting. It was hard to watch. I really liked him, and he tried his best to get the crowd amped up, and they were having absolutely none of it. We've got the footage here. Let's have a quick look.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, people of the Pokeverse, please welcome to the stage the voice of a generation, Jason. On the road, on the road, on the road. Here we go. You're on the road to Viridian City. On the road to Viridian City. If you know it, I want to hear everybody singing along. Come on, here we go. On the road to Viridian City. Hey, yeah. We've been a team and we've been training all day long. We're on the road and getting strong. Strong, getting strong. Now here's the plan. We're gonna head down to Manila. Trying to collect some Pokemon. Gotta catch them all, gotta catch them all. We keep on trying, and then we try some more. We'll stay together to find a place we're fighting for. I want to hear everybody singing. Sing it with me. I'm on the road to Viridian City. Meet my friends along the way. I'm on the road to Viridian City. I got a badge and a power to play. Viridian City.
I mean, fair enough to the guy for making the best out of a best tricky situation. He really did. He went for it. He put every voice in, despite it being a one-man show. So credit to him. Now we'll see if there's anything else that transpires about Pokeverse. I don't think it's quite as bad as Dashcon, or it's quite as bad as the Wonka Experience. I've not really seen a lot of disheartened fans about it. It's taken a few days for all this information to come out. So like I said again, give the person on Twitter a follow. Keep an eye on the story. If anything else comes out, we'll cover that as well. But until then, we'll see how the situation plays out. See if another Pokemon event comes from this. But until then, have yourself a good day. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving a follow. We've just hit 200. That's pretty big for me. So let's see if we can get to 300. Till then, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Ta-ta.